Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. As you can see, we have 4 builds in front of us. Only one of the 4 builds has all of its parts in. Now hopefully the other one gets all of its parts in today. But let's just get started on this one. Okay, so this POV freestyle kind of format is kind of new to me. I'm also using my phone to record audio because the microphone on the camera is pretty trash. But let's try to hold the phone and the camera in one hand and see if this works. And if I drop something, oh well. Okay, now for parts, we're starting off with a 1660 Super, some RGB fans. Oops. We have a 480 gig SSD from Kingston. We have 16 gigs of RAM by XPG that I kind of dropped on the ground. That's fine. We have a Wi-Fi card. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, actually, my bad. We have a Ryzen 2600. We're going to be using the stock cooler with this one. Then we got I believe it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, but we'll open it up in a second and see. Then we have a 700 watt power supply, non-modular, but that's completely fine because we can hide it in the basement of this case. Now for the motherboard, we have an Asus Prime B450MA motherboard, and this is compatible with the 3000 series chips. Now for the case, we have a Thermaltake Versa H18TG. TG is for tempered glass. And we got a 1 terabyte hard drive. All right, let's do some single hand POV. All right, here we are. Now let's count how many fan headers we got. So we got chassis fan 1, CPU fan right there, chassis fan 2. Not bad. I've seen some motherboards only come with 1 chassis fan and 1 CPU header. So you save a few dollars on the motherboard, but then you end up spending a few dollars on a fan splitter, so it doesn't really make sense. Might as well just get a better one right off the bat. Remember, buy nice or buy twice. All right. We need a screwdriver. This. Now some of you have wondered how I rotate this like fan shroud assembly. Now if you look on the underside, sometimes I've seen the new ones, they sometimes have a screw right at the bottom or even 2, but this one seems like it doesn't, so we can basically just pop this off, unscrew these 4 screws on the corner of the fan to rotate it, and then we can put the shroud on right side up. All right, let's pop this guy in and I'll show you. Now to take the shroud off, all you need to do is, if you have screws, you should have taken them off before you even screwed the fan in, or the cooler in, I mean. And all you need to do is put your finger in here and kind of pull it back. All right. I had to fiddle with it a little bit, but as you can see, there's just clips holding this one down, but yours might be different. So double check so you don't break these tabs, because I have done that before, assuming that they're all the same. But next step is to unscrew these 4 screws, take out the fan, rotate it, put it down, and then screw it back in, and then put the shroud back on. Now if you're going to do this, when you're unscrewing these screws, make sure that there's no metal shavings that fall onto the board. And that could potentially short out your board or even kill it. So let's do this. And put it down, wow. Just take this and pop it back on. There we go, good as old. Now let's get the RAM installed. Now what you want to do is, if you have 2 sticks of RAM, you want to put it in the first and second slot. No, I'm just kidding, don't. You want to put in the second and fourth slot, because that'll be dual channel memory. Alright, the next step, let's put the fans in, hard drives in, motherboard, power supply, then video card. Alright, so as you can see, the build went quite well, but there was one thing that I've never experienced before. This guy was rattling around in the power supply, so I took the fan grill off, and then that allowed me to move the fan a little bit. You might be able to see on the time lapse, and then I had to fish it out. But if that happens to you, I would not recommend going inside your power supply and digging around with it, because you could literally die, because there is super high voltage stuff and you do not want to be touching that stuff without experience. Two and a half slot card will not fit in this. Alright, and we only had time to do a few benchmarks. Starting off, we have Cinebench R20. We scored 2806 at stock speeds and we hit 68 degrees while running the test. Now 68 degrees is a safe temperature to be running at, and when you are gaming, your CPU most likely will not see these temperatures because most games don't utilize every core in the CPU. They typically use around 4 to 8 cores at the time of filming. Now if you wanted to be extra safe, you could opt for a good affordable cooler like a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, and they are usually on sale. There's also other variants of the basic 212 Evo like an all black one and one that comes with an RGB fan. Next up we have Unigine Heaven with 2195 with no overclock on the GPU. After that we did a Prime 95 stress test on the CPU with the maximum power and heat setting. After 10 minutes, we stabilized at 76 degrees with the side panel on. Now overall, this was a great budget Christmas build. We ordered all of the parts before there were huge delays with shipping and my client is thrilled with it. There was that one fitment issue with a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi card. I should have taken a closer look on the arrangement of the slots on the motherboard before I ordered it. Other than that, a huge thanks for making it this far in the video. Stay tuned for a mini ITX build, and I'll see you all in the next one.